Listen, guys, welcome to a brand new episode, Season 2. One of our very first guests in Season 2.
All right. Yes, sir.
Benjamin Perez.
What's up, guys?
You know,
Yep.
for those who don't, stay fucking tuned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, listen, we're going to start it off right, and here's your gift.
Oh, my man.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. All right. I like it. Appreciate that, my boy.
Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, that's for your cigars. I know you're a big cigar guy.
Yes.
You don't have to pay attention to the insignia on there too much if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I just was at the golf course and I was at the pro shop about to play, and yeah, you know.
No, man, I appreciate it. So, hey, I mean, I'll probably vote for that for him anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah. So what I want to get into today is not the basics. You've already did the basics. We want to dive into the depths.
Okay.
And the real part of Benjamin Perez.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just start off here. 2020.
Yeah.
Things are popping off in the real estate market. Everybody goes ahead and is killing it. And I noticed you were making quite a bit of moves.
Yeah, I did okay.
Right?
Yeah, I did okay. I did okay, yeah.
You made quite a bit of moves. And I can tell you that I was like, man, this guy's got his shit together. So during that timeline, was it just because business was flowing, or was it more of something that you basically came in like just, wow, business is just here? Or were you targeting certain like channels, investors?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a combination of things. I think the way the market was obviously helped, but I think you still had to do your work, you know. So I figured out over probably the few years before what was working for me to continue to get business. I think a lot of agents, I think, you know, myself, everybody's, you know, fallen into the trap where like, oh, what's the new shiny penny? Let me go chase that. That's going to get me business.
Yeah.
And I did, you know, I'm at fault for that, you know, but I figured out what was consistently giving me business. So one is obviously working with, you know, the couple investors that I work with, Pedro, and then another one. And then second, you know, is obviously over time I've, you know, gotten referrals from clients, but then also use what's called bandit signs, which a lot of agents always ask me about. So the bandit signs are, you know, just, you know, if you know what bandit signs are, I just throw them everywhere. I'll just blanket an area, different cities, and that also got me a lot of business. So those are kind of the three things I stuck to. And then I'll trial things throughout the year, like for about 3 months to see if it generates anything. And if it doesn't, you know, because I learned this from a buddy that I work with, you know, trial it for 3 months. If you don't get any results, scrap it, you know, add something else to your business. So those are kind of the things that, you know, kind of helped me, you know, obviously be successful in 2020 and continue on to be successful. You just stick to what's consistently getting me into business and then invest more money into that. And then just trial things as they come to see if it does work to add more business to what I got.
Yeah, because I was inspired, bro. Like you were one of those individuals during that timeline that just looked like everything was falling into place.
Yeah.
And there was so much momentum that you had. And I want to like take a step back and understand that momentum, you know, because not in this business, it's peaks and valleys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
And as much as we could fake it on camera, you know,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can fake.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us, you know, like even, you know, buddy I work with in the office, we were talking about a month ago and he's like, bro, like I got no closings this month. I was like, yo, I'm the same right now. But, you know, the next month we had multiple closings. So it's like, yeah, peaks and valleys, you know, things are, you know, not every month is going to be a closing. Obviously we want to have multiple closings every month. That's, you know, the ideal situation. But, you know, sometimes the business doesn't get you what you want. But as long as you continue to do what you need to do to get the business, you'll still have a steady flow of income coming in. So, but yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us. You know, it's never going to be just a trajectory up. You're going to have
it's not a rocket
downfalls.
ship on a chart.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Everybody would do it then.
Hey, listen, Elon Musk, I'm going to need that rocket.
Right?
real quick, 'cause Rockets.
Rocket X, send it over this way, bro.
That's it, man. So let's talk about, you know, Century 21.
Yeah.
What's given to you, and let's talk about some dark moments.
Yeah.
Right? You lead off where you want to start, brother.
Yeah. So Century 21, so I've been there, I think a little over a year now. So I've been at multiple companies like most agents do.
Yeah.
I ended up coming here because of a couple buddies that I was working with at a prior brokerage. I decided to go there, and they were not really trying to recruit me, but I saw what they were doing. Hey, man, just come to our trainings, just check it out. And I did that for a few months, and the amount of training that they're doing, I think, is what got me to kind of switch, because every week we're doing trainings, Mondays and Tuesdays, even Wednesdays. We'll do call days every other week. So the amount of training that goes on there, which is not seen at a lot of brokerages, and it's not typical training like most brokerages have their own training programs. It's different than that. It's more like how are you gonna handle objections if you're making phone calls or just talking to people in general. How to get more business. Like they're always just throwing stuff on us in order to help us get business, and the broker is willing to spend.
Who's that?
So my broker is Felix Lopez.
Okay.
So
Another
he,
big name.
yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been in the game for a while, and he has no problem investing in his company and in his team to help us get to the next level. That's what I like. I've been at other brokerage, and the brokers, they don't want to open their wallet. They don't want to invest in to their company or their agents, and it's kind of like you feel like you're on an island by yourself, and it's refreshing to see that in a broker. So that's kind of what keeps me there. Even though they're all these brokers, hey man, I'll give you a flat fee, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's appealing, but what I have there, I think, is worth me giving a little bit more out of my check.
Okay.
Because of who I'm surrounded with and what opportunities I feel like I'm going to get there.
You're willing to go ahead and allow the investment back into the business, and really what it sounds like, there's good synergy at this office.
100%.
There's a lot of support. It sounds
100%.
like everybody is like-minded and hustlers.
Yeah.
Getting it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to get to the next level. I mean, you got rookies there, you got veterans there, and the thing about I like it is everyone's willing to collaborate and share what's been getting them business. Like for the most part, like for me, I've never shared that I use bandit signs. Most of the brokers that I've gotten,
That's a dirty word.
Yeah, I've never. I don't like to share my secrets. And and one time we had a meeting, and I was like, yeah, I'll share. I brought an example, and I told everybody in the office, you guys are more than welcome to copy.
You've already seen my signs.
My signs, yeah, and they've also. And my broker saw it before I even went there.
Yeah.
He tells the story that he was out showing houses somewhere, and he's like, yo, who the hell is this guy? Like I see his signs all over the place. And
it just has the number. It doesn't ever say.
Well, it has a number. So basically, what it says is, I'll list your house for 1.5%. And I got this from another agent where I used to work. His where I'll list it for 1%. I was like, that's a little too low for me. Yeah. I'll do 1.5. I can work with that. And even though the sign says 1.5, not every listing that I've gotten from the signs has been a 1.5 listing. I've gotten the full commission.
Okay.
Because having the conversation when we're on the phone and figuring out what they're trying to do. And then they kind of forget about it. Like, well, how much do you charge? And I always like to say, well, how much do you want to pay me? And they're like, well, the last agent charged me 6, and I wasn't happy. And I was like, I'll do it for 5. Ready to go? Cool. Sign right here. So it doesn't always end up at a 1.5, but
okay.
It's just, let me get you on the phone so I can talk to you. So, and I told my office, hey, you guys can copy my sign word for word. I don't care, because the hardest part is not getting the signs. It's doing the work to put them out.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, because I'm out for 3-4 hours in the middle of the night. I go in the middle of the night when no one's driving. Yeah,
really,
because I blanket everywhere. It's easier to get out of the car. There's no cars around, so it's easier to get more out.
There's less eyes on you,
and I don't even care about that. Like, I mean, I'll put them out and people can see, well, what is this guy doing?
Yeah,
it's just easier for me to get out of the car, put them out, and then get back in the car because there's no traffic.
Huh? I'm taking notes over here.
So, yeah, I share what I did. I'm like, you guys are welcome to copy the sign word for word, put your number. I don't care. And one agent did it, and she bought all the signs and never put them out. I think she did it once and was like, yo, this is harder than I thought. And I said, well, that's the hardest part. You got to put the time in to go out and put them. And that's the hardest part. You can order them all day, yeah. But getting out there to put them, that's, doing the footwork is what is the hardest part.
Effort. So, you got to do the effort.
Yeah. It's not just buying them and, what are you going to do with them after you buy? You got to put them out. So I'll either put them on a stake, I'll staple them to a pole, or I'll zip tie them, depending on where I put them. So, I don't even know where I was going with this.
It was.
I just kind of kept talking.
It was one of the strategies.
Oh, one of the strategies. Yeah.
One of the strategies. So you love your brokerage so much because you're investing time back to them.
Exactly.
People are
There we go.
people are still learning, and this is one of the things that you brought to them.
Yeah.
And they some of them.
There you go. Now you reminded me. Yeah.
Some of them tried it. It didn't work out. So that's a dark time for them.
So yeah, circling back. Now I remember what we were talking about is yes, we're the ones that are successful are willing to share what's been helping them.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because a lot of brokers I've been at, people don't want to share their secrets. They're like, well, no, this is how I get my business, and I don't want to tell you.
They're very protective.
It's like there's enough business for all of us. Not everybody, does 15, 20, 30 deals a month, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got those that just want to keep secrets, and that's what I like is everyone's willing to share. Hey, you know what? This is how I'm getting a lot of business, and they'll explain it, from A to Z how to do it, and then you can trial it out and see if it works for you. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things of being where I'm at right now is a lot of that collaboration.
Cool. So when we talk about high moments of height,
Yeah,
success, happiness in this not just in life,
yeah.
but in this business, what would that timeline look like? What is a moment that you remember that, man, things were really good? I remember things were pretty easy, or tell me. Like,
I mean, you know what? Honestly, it was probably when COVID happened.
Okay.
When everything kind of happened and everybody was shut, nobody could work, nobody was essential. Me and my wife started talking. We're like, shit, like, what are we going to do? I thought, like most people thought, the market was going to take a dump, and we were preparing for that. And then, we got... What
kind of conversations were you having with her?
Yeah, I mean, we're like, shit, like, what are we going to do if the market crashes? Like,
she's your partner.
Yeah, so we worked together. Yep. Yeah, so we worked together. So, we were talking like, what are we going to do? Like, if the market crashes, how are we going to adjust? Because if it crashes...
Who's getting a 9 to 5?
Yeah, and that was a conversation. Like, yo, like, if we have to, like, we have to. We got bills, we got mortgages.
Right.
So yeah, that conversation was had. If worst came to worst, I told her, look, worst comes to worst, like, yeah, I'll get the 9 to 5. It's not a big deal. I'll work graveyard. I'll do this in the day, and we'll figure it out. Until business, gets back to where it needs to be. And then, dude, the fucking market just went the opposite. And it just skyrocketed, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Is that like around April or like mid?
Yeah, like April, May, like coming in, spring, and I was like, "What the fuck is going?" Yeah, dude, like it was just like everybody all of a sudden had all this money to buy a house.
Yeah,
people were overpaying like I've never seen before. It was insane. I was like, "Holy cow!"
What were those conversations like with your clients, like, hey, this house is listed for $450, but you're paying $520. What was that?
Yeah, so I mean, at that time, I didn't do a lot. I don't think I maybe did 1 or 2 buyers. Okay. I was heavy on the listing side, so
you were dominating.
Yeah, so it was like you got a listing. It was like you already knew it was sold like with the second you put it on the MLS. Yeah. So the buyers that the couple that I were working with, it's like hey, if you guys don't have extra money, just know like you're probably gonna get outbid. The couple that I was eventually able to get into escrow was, just working kind of, I call it working backwards. So instead of, most buyers are going to say, oh, I want to, brand new on the market. I want to go see that one, like every buyer. And I get it. Well, I was telling them, like, look, let's do the opposite. Let's look at what's been sitting for the longest, and you'll probably have a shot at getting into escrow.
That makes sense.
Because there's a reason it's sitting. Maybe it's overpriced. Maybe there's something wrong with it that's not major that, you're willing to work with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got a couple people into escrow that were buyers, but I wasn't really marketing buyers because I knew the market was so insane that, I mean, you had a listing, you had 50 people for one house that are throwing an offer.
Yeah.
And only one's going to get it, obviously. So, that wasn't my focus. But yeah, I mean, the listings were just insane. I mean, as soon as they went on the market, they were gone. So it just did the complete opposite of what everybody assumed was going to happen was a market crash.
Yep.
And, obviously the rates dropping to where they dropped helped drive that. And, it's funny having these conversations with clients now. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to wait till, those rates come back. Like, you'll never probably see that again in your lifetime. And I use that exact word. I go, that was an anomaly. Just like '08 was an anomaly when the market crashed. That will never happen again. So if you're waiting for a 2 and a 3%, forget it. You're never going to buy.
That was what I call bench warmers.
Yeah, bro.
Bench warmers. They preach to the choir consistently, and it could be your uncle.
Yeah.
It could be your sister. And the one thing is like, hey, do you own? I Why are you waiting?
Yeah.
And then they're always, oh no, I don't. I haven't bought. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Waiting for the race to drop or waiting for the market to crash.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
waiting for. I mean, let's just say it. Kingdom come. You're waiting for all the 401k money that you got saved to crash to the $0. Like that is the missing component that a lot of conversations I have. I'm sure you have too.
Yep.
It's like if you're waiting for that to happen, then you may not have that nest egg that you have to buy a house.
Yep.
That dollar can become nothing.
yeah. And it's funny because they don't understand, like, if the market crashes and you're depending on this 401k, that's going to crash too. They don't see that. They're just thinking, well, the housing is going by itself in this. No, it's not in this bubble by itself. Everything is going to trickle down if that crashes, and they don't.
Fingers on your hand, it's connected to your palm.
Exactly,
and that's exactly
bro.
how the financial.
Yes, they don't see that. So I'm like, you're waiting for I don't know what, but and I've had a lot of buyers like that. I'm gonna wait. Never ended up buying, and they went on their way to do whatever. I don't know.
What's interesting too is that I've had many conversations with my business partners. I don't call you realtors. Okay, I call you my business partners because if I don't win, you don't win.
Right.
And if we're not making money together, then you're a liability, and I'm a liability for you for not making money. So I talk to a lot of my business partners, and they can be escrow whatever people.
Yeah.
And I say, listen, what happened to your database that you acquired so many people on those sign-in sheets and on that iPad that you had people sign in? Bro, I got to be honest. I don't even know what happened to them.
Yeah.
Like those guys that actually were system focused at that time, they're just calling left and right to this day.
Yep.
To this day.
Yep.
And then going ahead and creating more opportunity because right now is the best time. And I don't know how often are you making like calls.
Yeah, so that
database.
Yeah, so that's funny. That's probably my biggest, Achilles heel is actually doing that. After all these years, it's still the biggest thing I don't do a lot of, So we just got KV Core in our office, so I'm starting to now learn how it works and get people on drips and touches to where that is being done. I do a lot of mass text messaging for business. Yeah, I don't do a lot of follow up. And I think that's my biggest downfall.
Never
I think
use the word follow up.
never. Yeah.
Yeah, never. I like to say, hey, listen, I'm gonna just connect with you again.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make sure that we can go ahead and schedule something.
Yeah.
I find the word follow up or circling back a way to bring our status down.
Yeah.
Right. We're not order takers. Right.
Right,
We can agree.
100%. Yeah.
We are people that are in a level to some degree like an engineer, some degree that have a doctorate, some degree like a lawyer. Like we are in that esteem. So some of the verbiage that we say and we utilize to clients, it's got to be super simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yep.
And we need to go ahead and make sure that when we're delivering our message, we keep that authority because the moment that we become followers and circle back people, it's just like, what's this guy fucking want?
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. So one of the things we talk about in the office is, exactly what you're saying. We're not following up is if we're calling, old clients, past clients, or even new clients that we're trying to get business from, it's calling with something of value. Hey, I just wanted to, reach out and just let you know how the market is in your neighborhood right now. If you've ever,
I just seen on social media,
something like that too. Yep.
I'm a big guy on social media.
One of the guys in the office, he's like, dude, I'll stalk people on their social media, and then I'll see something like their dog or something. I was like, hey, I just wanted to see how Rusty was doing. They're like, what?
Yeah, it's an easy way.
Exactly. It breaks the ice super easy. Yeah, because you're not calling about real estate. Hey, I just want to check how is your dog doing? I saw he was at the vet.
Yeah.
And then that conversation goes, and then walls are down all of a sudden, and it's an easier conversation.
Hey, by the way, did you notice I looked up at a report recently. You bought your house 2 years ago. Did you know you have this much equity? Like, it's an easy way to get that message.
Yeah, it's an easy way to transition into that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I'm a big time call guy.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those kids that was free after 9.
Yeah, I remember those. Oh yeah, bro, I remember those days. Yep.
Hey, girl, listen, it's 7:55. You gotta call me back after 9.
I get my free minutes. Yeah, I'm almost out.
Yeah, man. So I'm big time on calling people, and it's interesting to understand people's dynamic because you mentioned you text people.
Yeah.
Right? Some people are more easily to get in front of by texting.
Yeah.
Right? And then some people are, just email me or listen, just get me when you can.
Yeah.
So what that means is the floodgates are open. Drip campaign, email, text message twice a day. We're going to go ahead and call you. We're just going to hit all notes until you go ahead and, like in the Wolf of Wall Street, you either buy
or you die. Yeah, it's funny talking about calling. So, we do a lot of role play. We, do a lot. They have call days at our office.
Yeah.
And I've never liked cold calling. Yeah. It just was never my thing. Even though once I get on the phone, like especially like if I'm doing my mass text menu, someone engages, then I can jump on the phone and have the conversation. But for some reason, just a cold call was never my thing. And all these years, I've always, tried to force it, for myself to do it. I think I've come to realization, it's just not my forte.
Yeah.
And I'll just continue to do what's been working for me, which is the mass text menu and the other things that I do.
It's effective.
And yeah, my business, is doing fine. So I, and I tell people because, people, agents always ask me, new agents, what should I do? Well, what are you comfortable doing? If you're comfortable making calls, then get on the phone. You're going to get clients like as long as you make the calls.
I just tell people get your reps in.
Yeah.
No matter what
exactly. No matter what it is, just get your reps in and just do what is comfortable for you. If you want to learn to make the calls, then learn to make the calls. But if you're like me and you're like, over the years, it's just not for me. I just diverted to something else that works and I just run with it.
Yeah. For any new agent, this is what I tell them all the time, whether at an open house or anything, especially if it's a slower open house.
Yeah.
I just told one of my EXP guys that we were at Pasadena house condo. He was just sitting there doing social media. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's nobody walking through that door. You're not walking the block. You're not pitching people. So call agents that have houses within a 3-mile radius that are either open houses or on the market. Just, hey, this is James. I just had a buyer walk out of my place. It wasn't for him. Do you think I could just send him over your way? What agent is gonna say no?
Yeah,
right? What
exactly.
business partner is gonna say no? Yeah, send him over.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're sitting there waiting for clients to come in too.
Exactly.
So I was telling this newer agent, brand new, just call agents. Hey, and by the way, but listen, my name's James. Listen, if you guys can't make your own open house, I'm willing to do it. Just again, we talk about value.
Oh yeah.
So whether it's comfortable with texting, whether it's comfortable emails, just make that effort and dial it in until you get enough reps to understand this is what I'm more effective at.
Yep.
And this is what I'm more comfortable doing. And that's a dangerous word too, comfortable.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get comfortable in this business at all.
So what are some times that you felt comfortable and then you quickly snapped out of it?
Oh man, you know what? I think we all get as agents. I think we all get comfortable once we got like a few closings that happen like back to back to back. And you're like, cool man, like I got me a few checks.
Let me go on vacation.
Yeah, like I'm gonna let my foot off the gas. Like I'm good for several months with these checks, and every agent has fallen for that. Every agent, and those that are gonna say they haven't, they all have. We've all been newer agents.
Absolutely.
We all fall into that hole. Me and a few people in my office, we gotta have that mentality. Is like even though I have checks coming, I gotta think like I have nothing coming. Like I gotta feel like what I have is not existent, and I gotta continue to work like I have no checks coming, and it's hard to get into that mode or that mentality because in the back of your mind those checks are there, they're coming. To say to always work every day like you got to get paid, and that's kind of how it has to be. Like you got to wake up every day and say, I need a check today. I need to make a connection of somebody with somebody in order for me to get a check. All you need is one connection. If you can get one connection a day, your business is going to be insane.
Right.
And so you got to just strive to like as much as hard it is to feel like you don't have a check. You got to feel like you're not getting paid. There's nothing feel like your bank account is at zero. Whatever. If your bank account was at zero, what would you do to put money into it? Yep. And that's how you got to think every day. It's like my bank account is zero. What do I need to do today? Put some money into that bank.
It's that old saying, you perform best or you find out who your true character is when your back is against the wall and the opposition is everywhere and stress is
Oh yeah.
bringing you down.
You know what's funny? So thinking about that, right? So so I started real estate back in '07.
Right.
I left in the crash in '08, did something else for several years, came back, right? When I first came back, I think it was the second year. So what is that? What do they call it? My sophomore year. There you go. So my sophomore year, right?
Ben in sophomore year, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. So my sophomore year, I wasn't really doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Wasn't really doing anything. My wife was, essentially doing most of the deals that year, right?
She was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we got to a point, right, where she was like, hey, we only got about, 2 months worth of money in our account to live. Like, basically, like, what are you doing? And at that moment, I was like, are you kidding me? She was like, yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, you haven't done anything this whole year. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, it was a tough conversation, but it had to be had, and since that day and that conversation, I've never let my foot off the gas. I got to work and started getting deals, started getting clients, and I never looked back because I never want to have that feeling again where it's like, we only have 2 months.
Moment ingrained in your heart.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yes. I never want to have that conversation again with my wife. And,
It's been real serious.
Yeah, bro. I mean, she's like, yo, we got 2 months left. Like, what are we going to do after 2 months? Like, we got no more money to pay our bills. I was like, holy shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
What was you doing?
Yeah. Last time. Yeah. Never let that happen again.
Got it.
And it's, yeah, bro, like talking about back against the wall, bro, that was probably the worst feeling. I was like, holy shit, I need to get to work.
Yeah.
Because and I was honest. I was like, yeah, I didn't do anything. I wasn't doing anything. Wasn't trying to get business. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll wait for someone to call me. Like people are like there's a line of people waiting to say, man, you want to sell my house?
That's the worst thing for any new agent to feel.
Yes.
Right? Like to just expect.
Yeah.
No, we need to be okay, we've had some earthquakes in the past 2 weeks. You need to be the reason why the earth is shaking.
Yep.
You need to go ahead and dial that phone and start dialing, right? Pick up that phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a worthless loser? Good.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Right?
And even if it's not that, like, just do something that's going to help you generate business. Like, we talk about this in our office. Do open houses. Those don't cost you money, especially new agents that don't have money to invest.
Right.
Do all these things that are free. Host an open house for other agents. I did that when I got back in the business, and I got my first deal right away from that. Door knock doesn't cost you anything but time and sweat. Market, on your social media, your office's listings as your own. As long as, so your office is the easiest because, hey, I'm going to market your listing. Obviously you got to make sure you give credit to the agent, but I've gotten plenty of deals doing it like, hey, check out this new property that hit the market.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of things you can do that don't cost money.
Right. Just effort.
Yeah, it's just effort. And it was funny because I was on this training earlier was it this week? Or I think it was last week. And there was an older lady. It seemed like she had been in the game for a while, right?
Yep.
Her business was up in the high desert. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm sending all these mailers, investing all this money in this and that, and I'm getting no business. And the guy that was leading the training, he was like, well, how are your open houses done? She's like, I don't do an open house unless it's my own listing. I was like, wow. So I had to chime in, and I was like, honest. And she's like, I don't do buyers either. I was like, whoa.
That's a limited mindset.
Yeah. And I had to kind of jump in and say, hey, look, right now, as an agent, you take everything that comes your way. Like, I'm not a heavy buyer's agent, but I got a buyer right now that I'm working that's in escrow. I will happily take a buyer.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to depend on listings, even though that's where I spend most of my focus.
Okay.
I will still take buyers hands down because business is business. And then now you're too good to do an open house that's not your listing.
Pride.
It's like, come on, like you're wasting a lot of money with mailers and stuff that obviously are not working. You got to do something else, like switch your business, do something that doesn't cost money, that's free, like an open house or door knock. And it's like, she's like, I don't know what to do. Well, you're only doing like 2 things that are costing you a lot of money when you can do all these other things that cost you nothing and probably get business. And I think right now as an agent, you got to take everything and anything.
Yeah.
You cannot have that mentality like, no, I'm only a listing agent and I'm not gonna do buyers. Like, yo, I'll take everything. It doesn't matter, land, mobile home. You know, mobile homes maybe if they're not that expensive, because those can be a hassle. But yeah, if it's real estate and it can be sold, like, yo, I'm taking it. Buyer, I'll take it. Like, I'm not opposed to working with anything, because that's just the way the market is now. And right now, what I say in my office is, right now it's feast or famine.
Yep.
So are you gonna feast, or are you gonna die out and disappear?
How hungry are you?
Exactly, bro.
How willing are you to put away your pride? This lady has pride. Put away your pride. How willing are you to learn and do something new?
100%.
Look at since 2020, right? We got to look at social media. Home tours weren't a thing at that time.
Nope.
You know, like, and now everybody just reposts home tours and stuff.
You know what I used to do? So when COVID happened, you know what I started doing? Because we couldn't do open houses, right?
You couldn't.
So I started doing open houses on Facebook Live, bro.
Did you?
Yeah. So what I started doing is I would, me and my wife would go to the houses. We would open Facebook Live, post it in all these groups, and we would just walk around the house talking about it, showing the house. And, bro, we got some decent clients out of it. No one was really doing it, because me and my wife were like, well, what are we going to do? We can't host an open house yet. We got to wait for the rules to change. Well, shit, everyone's on Facebook right now. Everyone's on social media. So let's just think outside the box. And we started doing that until regular open houses got open again. And we would get, a few hundred people on the live.
It's
just,
big.
hey, like, where is the house? Just, asking questions, and we would start engaging.
Traffic.
Yeah. So it was, and they weren't even our open house. They weren't even my listings. Like, yo, I don't care. Like, I need to get clients,
Correct.
So it's just, you got to think outside the box sometimes. So, and not have that pride, like, yeah, I'm not too good for this. Like, hey, like, I got bills to pay and, mouths to feed. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do right now.
Absolutely. So home tours was one. Now that we started seeing more frequently drones, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. Now we're starting to see more investors, like our friend Pedro.
Yep.
Shout out to the island boy.
Yes, sir.
That are publicizing their flips.
Yeah.
Right. So I love the evolution of what we're getting to see, and look at that was 4 years ago, 2020.
Yep.
And look at how a 180 this market is.
Oh, yeah.
Going from limited inventory then, like, to now, there was inventory up the woo wang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Buyers everywhere to, it's quiet.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're generating business on our own. And this is even for me too, because like January, I came to terms with, like, all right, dude, like, do I want to be like these guys out here just doing trigger leads?
Yeah.
And which I don't like trigger leads, bro. They're non-loyal. They're looking for the lowest of the low.
Right.
I can deliver that, but my thing is white glove service.
Yeah.
And you're going to be attached to the hip. Any of my clients, they don't go nowhere. They don't even think about shopping. And when they do, hey, Tony, I just got this thing. All right, bro, listen, I already gave you the best offer. But if you really want to do this, then this is what you're going to give up.
Right.
Tell them that, right? And I'm sure the same thing for your listing appointment. Like, when I hear my business partners go on listing appointments and they say, I got it, and they're not giving up commission, it's because of the way they're presenting. Hey, listen, I have a group of buyers ready to go. Pent up demand, and these are their names, these are their numbers, and this is a tangible form for you, Mr. Seller, to look at, so that you know that I'm not bullshitting.
Yeah.
If you want to call one right now, tell them Tony told you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about value and what I'm driving. So that's what I did in January was, how do I hook up with more business partners that are doing it different, that are hunting? Those are the type of people I want to be around, because we're not just waiting, sitting around like you said.
Yeah.
Just waiting for a phone call. Like, bro, like, you could might as well wait for Jesus to call, because
Right?
it ain't gonna happen.
It's not ringing, bro. It's not ringing.
Yeah. You like, remember when there's answer machines and you would see that blinking light? Shit, we ain't seeing no lights.
Nope. No blinking lights.
The lights turned out on us.
Yeah, bro.
Doing that way.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, 100%, man.
So let me ask you this. So the mentor that you have right now at the office, right? He's been great. Who is like an early life mentor for you? Who was someone that kind of pushed your envelope to not only to get into the real estate business, but to be have a vision of success in life?
So talking about getting my license, so my wife actually pushed me to get it.
Okay, so she was the first.
Yeah, so we were just dating at the time, and I was just working, some odd jobs. Never wasn't even in sales. Never even in sales before I got my license. And she was like, "Hey, like, why don't you get your real estate license one day?" And I was just like, "What?" I was like, yeah, let me think about that. And I got it, and some buddies that I went to high school with, they were already kind of doing the business, so that's kind of where I went. And yeah, I mean, it was probably the best thing I ever did because I never even thought about it until she brought it up, and I don't even remember how the conversation even went. It was so long ago.
Was that a big moment in time, like where you look back and say, this moment when I had this conversation with my girlfriend, wife now, that's what started me on this trajectory of success?
Yeah, I think for sure because it was funny. She would always say, she would tell me, I'm never gonna marry a guy that works at a warehouse. So I would joke with her like, "Yo, what if I wanted to be like, the supervisor, And she was like, "No, I'm not. That's not happening." She's like, "I want someone that's got
I like her.
some ambition, right?"
Yeah.
And so I would always mess with her like, what if that's what I want to do? And she was like, "No, you're not doing that."
Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. She was like, "Yeah, then we're not gonna get married." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But yeah, I mean, she wanted someone that had ambition, wanted to do something more than be stuck at a warehouse. And no, I give her mad credit for pushing me to get it, because that's the reason why I'm here right now.
Wearing
So
that nice fancy floor.
right, yeah, right.
Nice glasses with a clean cut, man. If anybody doesn't know Ben, bro, this man stays clean.
You got to, man. You got to. Appearances, everything. Yeah,
It
for
really is,
sure.
bro. So so I want to give two shout outs. So shout out to your wife, your girlfriend at the time,
Yes.
for getting you into the
Baby,
business.
love you.
Right? And then two, shout out to you guys are having your anniversary, right?
Yeah, so it will be 16 years next week. Appreciate it. Yeah.
14.
Yeah. Oh, congrats, bro. Yeah. So
Ain't easy.
no, it's not. We've definitely had our lows and we've had our rough patches, but it's crazy. Like, it just feels like we're more in love like now than we have been in a long time. So like things are really good, and I appreciate everything she does.
Brilliant.
It's funny, we were having this conversation today. We're kind of thinking back, like, shit. We're 16 years married, and we're like, damn, we've been together about 20 in total. And you think about it, it's like, damn, that's like half my life right now. We've been together. Wouldn't change anything.
You guys are life partners.
Oh yeah,
Business partners.
Yep.
And she's kind of, let's just say you was in the passenger seat for a good portion of the
yeah, for sure, for
based off
sure.
of what we've talked about.
Yeah.
Now you've put her in a position where she just kind of is, she still does her thing.
Right.
But you're driving,
Yeah.
you're holding
Yeah.
it down, and
And that's kind of where I wanted it to get to.
Yeah.
Because there were definitely a few years where she was kind of carrying the weight,
yeah.
and I could see that stress on her. When we had that conversation that me and her had to have. And I just never looked back. Now, last couple of years she kind of took her foot off the gas and kind of took a break from the business, because it can get stressful. Dealing with clients and just things that are not going your way. And I said, and I don't put pressure on her, like, you do you at your own pace. Like, I got this, and it's
I'm
been like,
not gonna give you that 2 minute
Yeah.
drill, 2 months.
no, yeah. So, she's, a little bit more relaxed now. She's, doing her own thing, a couple other things besides real estate.
Okay.
For me, it's like, if I can take that stress away from her, then it's a win for me. And I should be the one providing anyways. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Now, it's just, it's a perfect balance right now. So she doesn't feel like she has to work.
I love it.
It's like, okay, hey, you know what? Like, I want some clients now. Like, let's get to work. Or,
Yeah.
she can say, I'm not really feeling it. It's like, cool.
Yeah, I love
Take your
that.
time.
I love that, man. And so let me ask you this: was there any quotes that you've heard over the years, or any book that kind of like helped you strategize or create this path that you're on right now?
There's a quote that I have saved on my computer. And it's from The Wolf of Wall Street.
I love it.
Yeah. So the quote is. So the quote is, if money isn't everything, then go work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Not that money is, everything to me, but in order to get and have the life that I want, I need to build
Money is a conduit.
I need the wealth to get to where I want to go. And that's always kind of resonated with me. Like, well, hey, like, if you're not, it's funny because we'll have this conversation with agents, like, hey, why did you get into real estate? And most agents want to say, oh, I love houses I love showing. No, no, you don't.
No, you don't. Nobody does.
The last everyone that
get into finance.
everybody that asks me, I'm gonna be 100% like, yeah, I want to make money.
Exactly.
You can make uncapped amounts of money here and build wealth very fast, which is why I got into real estate.
Right.
And I'm not shy about saying that. It's not that I don't like helping clients. Of course, I want to help clients.
Correct.
But that is not why I got in to show houses, 40, 50 houses. Nobody likes showing that many houses. Like, come on, let's be real. So yeah, I got in it for the money. And that's why they always resonate, because if you're not in it to build wealth, what are you doing here? Because we've had this conversation in my office, with one of my buddies. He was like, hey, how many agents do you see have a retirement party? None, right? Because most agents don't build a retirement or build wealth to where they can retire. That's why you see a lot of agents, unfortunately, that are, past, their retirement age, still in the game. I don't want to be that. For sure, no. I want my goal is to retire me and my wife before we're 50.
Right.
Ultimate goal is 45.
Same.
So if I make it to 50 and I can walk away and not have to work,
yeah,
that's my ultimate goal. I'm not gonna be 65, 70 freaking showing houses.
No way.
No.
And that's nothing against those people.
Hey, if you love it, hey, more power to you. Like, I'm not taking jabs at anybody, but that is not for me. I wanna have income coming in, because there's things that I'm going to be, purchasing, where I can go on vacation and not have to worry about having to work. Just work on referrals.
Yep.
Or work when I want.
Correct.
There's other things I have aspirations for.
I like that quote.
I love that quote. That's why it's on my computer, man. Love it. Love it. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies, man.
Oh, bro, I could quote the hell out of that movie. Yeah. It'd be many late nights.
Yes, man.
Like, you still watching this movie?
That one or Glengarry Glen Ross, bro?
Of course. I actually just watched that Kevin Spacey interview when he was talking about that experience, because that was an all-star cast.
Yeah.
All-star cast.
Oh, yeah.
And in sales, like, doesn't matter what kind of sales you are in, that is one of the movies they tell you to watch early on. Like, that's introduced to you.
Oh, yeah.
That Boiler Room.
Yep. Yeah, Boiler Room is tight too, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let's get a little controversial here. If that's a buyer, answer it, bro.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That'll be all right.
What are some of the things that you fucking hate when you're on a listing and you're having to deal with a buyer's agent, or you're on the other side? What are some of those things that you just hate?
So what's been pissing me off the last few months?
Perfect. Let's get into it.
So like I said, I'm a heavy on the listing side.
Yeah.
Is buyer agents and your lenders not communicating with me, and I had a escrow fall apart on a listing I still have about a few weeks ago. They dragged it on for almost 90 days, right?
What? You allowed them to drag you on?
Well, yeah. So originally they were gonna buy it FHA, right? And then the lender's like, oh, something happened with his taxes, so we had to switch it to a P&L. Excuse me, because the guy was a business owner.
Okay.
I said, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as it makes sense, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the money, we got no problems, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Switch it to a P&L. And then I wouldn't get any updates. And I told him from the beginning, look, whether it's good or bad, just give me an update. Like, I got to let my seller know what's going on. I want to know what's going on.
Don't put me in a position where I
Yes, dude. Don't put me in the dark. They wouldn't answer my calls, texts, nothing. And I was getting so frustrated. My seller had already started moving out.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, hey, like, what's going on? I'm getting nervous. I go, if I have no answers, like, what am I going to, I have nothing to tell. I'm like, look, I'm calling her. I'm texting them. Like, no one's answering. The day I was going to walk into their office, because their office coincidentally was down the street from mine, I found out. The day I was going to go there and talk to the agent and the lender, because they have a small brokerage, I get a cancellation in the email before I even stepped out the office to go over there. Not a phone call, not a text, just cancellation. I was like, oh, like, how you do business like that?
Yeah.
Like,
should we air them out?
No, I don't want to do that. But, it's funny you say that, because me and my wife, have what we call the blacklist of agents and lenders that I will not work with.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing business like that, I don't want no part of that.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very small community.
Definitely.
And agents remember things that happen.
Yep.
So I will advise my clients, especially a seller. Like, look, this agent is probably not the best to work with because of my last experience.
Yep.
Lender, same thing.
Who's the worst? Is there someone like specifically like? Is there a Rocket Mortgage or is there a specific?
Yeah, Rocket Mortgage, bro. It's funny you bring that up. So, one, I've had a couple deals fall apart because the buyers wanted to use them. So if I get a client, and if they have their own lender, I always say, hey, I'll work with whoever you got. If you want a second opinion, I got some great lenders that'll give you, some great information. Just talk to them. Yeah. At least I'll try and nudge that. But you don't have to use them. Yeah. You use whatever you want. Had a couple that wanted Rocket Mortgage, bro. Same thing. Their lenders won't get back to me. Like the file's going sideways. I'm like, what's going on, dude? Like I need answers, and then no one's answering my questions, and then I just get an email from the lender. Oh, buyer doesn't qualify. Yeah. Why are we 2 weeks in escrow then? Correct. So it's funny you bring a Rocky because the client I'm working with right now called me last night. We're already 2 weeks into escrow, right? He's like, hey, Rocky Mortgage offered me this and that. The lender you referred us to, I mean, she's great. She answers everything really on top of it. But, I mean, it's an extra like 10 grand in closing costs. I go, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. 10 grand is nice. I go, but I've had deals fall apart with Rocket Mortgage. One, they don't answer my calls. I don't know if they even work the weekends. I don't think they do. I go, and a lot of times they lie about even being qualified. So I'm going to just put that out there right there. I don't trust them. Luckily, he's not going to switch. He's like, well, let me see if I can leverage, what they're offering. Always I go, yeah. I go, see if maybe she can give you an extra couple grand to help you out for sure. I go, but I would not recommend switching because they will probably fall. The deal's going to fall apart. I do the same. I do the same. I'm like, listen, you're coming to me with this. We're not canceling. Yeah. We're going to keep moving forward until it's a sure thing on their side. I know my systems, I can get this done in 10 days, 7 days, 4 days, whatever it needs to be done, it will be done within a short time. So they have, let's call it 10 days to figure their out and give you feedback. By day 8, you should know exactly where you are and where we are going to be able to move forward on. And if I'm going to leverage it, great. If I can't, great, but I'd never want to leave you in a bad spot where, okay, bye, cancel, then they come back. Yeah. Right? It's about that white glove service. Yep. And unfortunately, Rocket Mortgage, you're trash. You don't have it. Yeah. It's funny. I didn't even know this because the same clients, they originally had a Zillow lender.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, what? I had heard that they were opening their own mortgage. Yeah. And so I was originally working with them, right? And, I was like, okay, let me see how this works. Right. They email them like, hey, I need their full deal. I need everything. Okay, cool. Got me everything. And then we got into escrow, right? Once with him. And then the dude disappeared. I was like, and then he was like, oh, like, I was like, hey, dude, like, do they qualify? Because based on what you're telling me, like, you're saying they do. And now you're saying they don't for the number you gave me based on the DU and their approval. He's like, well, hold on. Let me rerun everything. I got to talk to them. He's like, I'm going to call them right now. Okay.
Takes 25 minutes at most to figure this out.
Bro, the next day, the client calls me. He's like, hey, like, what happened? What do you mean? Like, did, whatever his name was, John, or did John not call you? Yeah. He's like, no. I go, dude, I talked to that guy for like 30 minutes. He said he was going to call you right after I got off the phone with you. Yeah. Or with him. Yeah. To, address the issue.
Even that dialogue is terrible.
It's like, bro. And then the dude just disappeared off the planet Earth, but never heard from him again. Because after that, I go, look, let me get you into my in-house lender. It's my broker's wife. Really good. She's going to take care of you. Yeah. He's like, at first he was like, oh, let me think about it. Sure. Not a problem. Yeah. He's like, you know what? Let's do it. And thankfully, I go, look, you can sit down with her. You can see who it is. She can answer all your questions. Right. And she did, and gave them more information than they got prior, which they were appreciative of, but working out. And I was like, look, this is why I don't like using those type of lenders, because look, I mean, dude just disappeared, never called me again to even tell me that you don't qualify. Like, what? Like, who does business like that?
It's about trust.
Oh, for sure.
So it doesn't matter if you're on your side or my side or title, or who do we trust? Yep. And that's what we convey when we talk to our clients. Hey, listen, we've partnered with these people because they're dependable, they're reliable, they're communicative, and they operate under the same pretense of what we want,
Yep.
getting you to the end result. And I define myself as a person that brings people's dreams come true. And you too.
Yep.
In the same way, it's like we are lenders, we are realtors, but no, realistically, you come to us with an idea or a strategy or a dream, we just help you get you to the finish line. And that's where our resources and our tools come in, right? To getting that done. And that's why we utilize our partnerships, because we can rely on them. We don't have any, we're not let down. We've already gone through the worst of the worst, and we're not trying to go ahead and take you. It's like if you say to your sister and she says, hey, where's a good restaurant? You're going to probably give her a few.
Right.
And she says, what about this one? Oh, well, that place, bro, you don't want to go there. I just seen they have a C rating based off of this, and this, or I was there, right? So it's all about how we convey that to our clients. It's not about us, quote unquote, steering them to our partners, but it's really just conveying them, like, if this is really something you're serious about, these are the people that are serious too.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. It's like, look, I have a team in place that I know can get us to the finish line. Working with an unknown, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know them.
You can't control.
Exactly.
You can't even, you don't even know the narrative, because in those conversations you were talking about, he said, she said, those are the worst conversations. And then also, I don't know, like the other word I don't want to use is I don't know. Or, you know, I have no idea what's going on. Those are the phrases that we want to avoid. And by utilizing our partnerships effectively, it's
yeah, 100%, bro.
Right?
100%, bro. That's why I always say, look, I have a team that will take us to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, let me just connect you with them, you know?
Yeah, and it's always good to
it always ends up, they end up working with, you know, our partners anyways. You know, it's like, okay, I'll let you see what's about to happen, and then it happens. Like, this is why I said, let's go this route, you know? It's like,
without any fail.
Yeah, it always happens. Always happens.
Time. And it's interesting because you work with investors.
Yes.
Pedro and several others. So with them, do you see that there's a night and day difference between our normal consumer client that's
100%,
and then versus a realtor? Like, let's break it down real quick. What do you? I
mean, comparing a regular home buyer to an investor, a home buyer buys with emotion, an investor buys off of numbers.
Okay.
Solely off of numbers. So it has to pencil out to a deal, make sense, and then they're gonna move forward. You know, a buyer could say, "Oh, well, I don't like the color of that house. So I want to keep looking." Like, bro, you could paint that. Or I don't like, you know, that there's no grass. Bro, you could plant that. You know, these small things that make them want to back out or not move forward.
Yeah.
You know, investors are the best and the easiest because, hey, if it makes sense, I'm gonna make a profit. Great, let's move forward. Let's, you know, flip it. You know, whatever it is. You know, and get this close, you know, so it's night and day. So, yeah, obviously I would love to just work with investors, because like I said, they're the easiest. Even sellers, you know, they have emotion tied to the house, and they feel like their house is worth more than, you know, ideally what it is. And sometimes it's a hard conversation. Like, hey, you know, it's not worth that, you know. It's like, well, where did you get that number? You know, we got to ease into where they got the number. It's funny, I was doing mass text messaging yesterday, and this house in San Bernardino, I just sent him a message, you know, the message that I have, and you know, he's like, yeah, you can buy it for $900, you know. And I pull up the house, I'm like, bro, this is a 3-1. Yeah, San Bernardino.
Let's just assume it's like 600, maybe.
Oh, it's not even close to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, maybe.
Yeah. So, you know, and I ease into it like, oh, hey, you know, hey, great. Hey, you know, can you tell me a little bit more about how you got, you know, to 900? You know, he's just one of those people like, yeah, if you're going to buy my house. I think he thought I was trying to buy it cash, which was not the case. You know, I was trying to get, you know, a listing. You know, I was just like, hey, you know, I can get you the most, but, you know, it's not 900, you know. I didn't even say that. Like, that was, hey, I can get you the most on the retail market. He said, well, if you're gonna buy it, you know, if you want it, it's 900. Well, I'm not trying to buy it. You know, I would give you a lot lower number than that. I'm trying to get you retail. But it's funny, you know, it's not funny, but it's, you know, it's having those conversations with sellers that, you know, they have emotional ties to the house, and, you know, sometimes they think their house is worth more than what it actually is, and it's like, hey, it's not really worth that. This is based on sales and your square footage and what you have and your upgrades. This is what it's worth. Anything more, it's really just gonna sit there.
There's some people at bonkers. Like there's this. I'll give you an example
Yeah.
too. This property in Rosemead, been on the market for 3 years. Took a couple investors.
3 years,
Bro, big lot.
uh-huh.
Trashed down bad. I walked it with one or two of my investors.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, man, this garage, tear the garage down, create a 2-unit here, double it up, 2-unit on top. Main house is to the right. There's a big backyard, open space in the back. I'm thinking we put an offer for 550. Easy. Agent goes to the seller. The seller says, "Oh, I want 750." And we're like, whoa. Like, again, how did you come to that?
Yeah.
Because are you talking about what's actively selling on
Right.
the market right now? Absolutely, 750 is the number. But for the current state of this house,
Yeah.
you're not getting. And we're like,
What this looks like.
bro? Like, it was. You want to know how bad it was? It had one of those 1950s ovens.
Oh,
Like the ones that in there,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
old ones that had the wood on the
In the
outside.
cabinets?
Yep.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
cabinet.
yeah.
Then the carpet was that dark. This wasn't just because it was old, guys. It had that brown red carpet from fucking the 50s, 60s, bro.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So we're walking it, man. I mean, this place needed to be just tore down to the
Yeah.
studs, but it had a lot of promise.
Right.
And we came back. All right, dude. We'll come at 600. Nope. 725. That's the lowest she'll go. We're like, all right, dude. Well, what do you want?
Yeah.
So what we found out was the homeowners had owned this for a long time, got passed to their daughter, and it looks like the daughter is just trying to make the quickest buck. So when it comes to these things, you just got to stand on business. Okay.
Yep.
You can't just go ahead and come in and just say yes, right? We got to come in with facts and figures to support
Yep.
where we are and understand where they are, because it's all about give and take and compromise.
To that point, one of the things that a few of us do in our office is, if you have those sellers that are just adamant, like, no, this is the number I want. Okay. If after everything we've given them and they're still stuck on a number, hey, let's do this. I'll list it at your number for 2 weeks. And if I don't get no offers, I'm going to put it in the contract to price reduce it to my number.
Okay.
So I don't even have to have the conversation of a price reduction, because it will be in the contract that after 2 weeks, it will automatically get price dropped to my number of what it should sell at. So it avoids that conversation, because you're having it up front and say, I'm going to put it on paper, so that if we do not get offers close to that or at all, we're going to price drop it. I don't even have to call you, because I'm just going to do it automatically.
Yeah.
So it kind of avoids the whole conversation you have to have with sellers, like, hey, we need to do a price reduction. Yeah, you do it before you even sign it. It's on paper, so you don't even have to call them to say you're doing it. It's already going to be done.
Yep.
So it makes it easier. So it's like, hey, that's fine. Let's do it at your number. Let's see what we get. And if we don't get nothing, guess what? We're going to drop it to my number.
It's crazy.
And it's a win-win. So you'll get the listing, and you'll get automatic price reduction when you don't get the offers, because the house is overpriced.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and we'll kind of start closing out on this one. When you're talking about whether it's newer agents or agents that are seasoned, that are looking to create more partnerships with investors, what advice or what guide would you lead them down?
Oh man, that's a good question. So it's kind of hard with investors. So before I linked up with Pedro and the other one that I work with, I talk to a lot of investors. I still to this day get blown up by investors like, hey, do you have off markets? I'm looking to do this or that. You got to kind of set the expectation up front, which is what I did with Pedro. So like I had talked to all these investors, and they essentially wanted me to do everything for them, find the deal, run the numbers, and if it's a deal, then call me. Well, that doesn't make sense. I might as well just do it myself, But every investor is different. Every investor has their own numbers they're willing to, buy or purchase at.
Geolocation numbers.
Yeah.
Needs.
So it's like I can't do everything for you and assume it's a deal for you.
What am I, Aladdin?
Yeah.
Rubbing the lamp.
So me and Pedro, when we first met, we went out to lunch, and I was like, okay, what are your expectations? Okay, this is what I'm willing to do for you as an agent. I was like, look, I'll put you on a drip of potential properties that can be a flip.
Yeah.
You find something you like, cool. I'll schedule the showing, and then I'll go to work to try and get the best deal for us. But that's kind of all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run the numbers.
Yeah.
You got to do that, but you'll have the properties in front of you, so you can run your numbers. Hey, this could be a deal at this number, and that's how that worked out. Because the first several deals we did were off the MLS. Not everyone in MLS pencils out. You know, he's getting a lot of off markets now, which is great. But that would be our recommendation, is set the expectations on both ends, not just for them, but also, hey, this is what I'm willing to do, and this is what I can do to help you. But you also have to do, you know, some of your own work. And then that can help you build a partnership, because, you know, over the years, me and Pedro, you know, more like friends now, you know, versus partners, you know, because we'll do some different business together. That's not just the flipping. But that would be my best advice, you know, is just set the expectations, let them know like, hey, this is what I can do and what I'm willing to do. But I can't do I can't do the whole thing. I can't analyze the deal because I don't know what your numbers are. I don't know what you're willing to risk.
Yeah.
Every investor is different. Just let me know what you want to buy, where, and then I'll go to work and try and find it for you. Yeah, that would be my best advice. Yeah. Okay. And just network. I mean, you gotta network with people. You know, I don't go to a lot of networking events.
I know I don't see you
right now. It's just something I just don't do. I did a lot when I first got in the business. But if you want to meet people, I would definitely go to events, because there's a lot of investors there, there's a lot of wholesalers there, there's a lot of lenders there. And you want to make a lot of connections with people, because that's how you're going to build your connections, which could lead you to your next deal.
That's it.
Yep.
So I think we pretty much covered the gambit of Ben Perez and Mr. IE, man.
Yeah.
If you guys are in the IE and looking to go ahead and, you know, list or be represented on the buy side,
give me a call. Give me a call, guys.
10024 Mike Jones. Nah, but with that being said, listen, we covered what the expectations are of being an agent. We've uncovered, you know, the peaks and the valleys of it.
Yeah.
And I think today we've delivered some quality value to our viewers out there. And like and subscribe. Tune in. This will definitely be airing, and you know, the man with the bow tie always got the plan, and this guy's got the floral print.
Yo, real quick. So this is gonna go over to my wholesalers. If you got off-market deals, send me a DM. I'll be tagged on this video. Shoot me a DM. Let's make a deal happen. Me and my partner are always looking for multiple properties, so we'll buy 2, 3, 4 at a time. So let's make some money together. Let's make some deals happen, guys.
Yeah. Listen, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Another day in between the tees. I'll see you on the next tee. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.